with the status quo in the country. This is certainly not helping in government's drive to reduce poverty.
With that, what is therefore the way forward to ensure better living conditions and decent work standards for workers?
I'd like to call on government to pay particular attention to workers in both the formal and the informal economy. It is therefore resolved that special consideration is given to workers within the informal sector, as they form the largest work population and have a tremendous stake in the socio-economic development of the country.
This congregation is certainly important, as it will allow you to reflect on the critical role that you can play in the socio-economic development of our beloved country. It is also expected to allow you to identify hurdles constraining you from fully playing your role in the country's development process.
Workers are important ingredients in building peaceful nations with super economy. And as workers in the Gambia celebrate this day in styles, a few things they should live to remember. One of them is to nurture unity amongst themselves, one surest way to attain their dreams of fair treatment, good working conditions, better pay and good pension allowance paid on time, good working environment, peace and justice. These activities into the day-long event are in that spirit of unity for that common objective. Louis Mendy, GRTS.
Well, the event staged at the July 22nd Square served as the perfect ground for interaction between personnel of various institutions, whilst at the same time compete in different sporting activities, all in the spirit of unity and understanding. But as we hear in this report by Modo S. Jala, what was a memorable event capped off with a presidential generosity to the delight of many.
May 1st is International Workers' Day, and the Gambia has joined the rest of the world to celebrate the annual event. Workers from all sectors converge on the July 22nd Square to commemorate the day through sports, with a view to strengthen ties between workers of different companies and institutions from both the public and private sectors. Over 50 institutions participated in this year's celebrations, competing in various events ranging from track and field events to fun games. As always, the security service dominated most of the events. The Gambia Armed Forces yet again reigned supreme in the tug-of-war, winning both the male and the female categories. The soldiers were no match for their opponents, as they successfully defended the tug-of-war title. There was also a rare victory for the Armed Forces on the Gracie Pole, with Ibrahim Jata bringing down the Samson flag in a spectacular fashion. Adama Jammeh of the Prisons Department was the star of the sprint race. While the 23rd edition of the Mass Media Sports will be long remembered for being one of the longest, exciting, and colorful events. The carnival atmosphere of the occasion further exploded when it was announced that President Jammeh had promised to sponsor some of the events, namely the Baby Mohammed Jammeh Race, Baby Mariam Jammeh Trophy, the First Lady's Trophy, and the President's Trophy, with hefty cash prizes for the winner and both the first and second runner-up in each of the races. The first family-sponsored races were very competitive, but at the end, the winners went home with broad smiles, having won themselves huge amount of money, ranging from $15,000 to $50,000 from the president. The 23rd edition of the May Day celebrations, which lasted well into the night, will go down in memory as one of the most successful events, much to the delight of the organizers and Dr. Njoguba, who was deputizing for the president. The final results will be announced during the GNOC Sports Banquet at a later date. But it must be said that in this case, everybody was a winner, as a fun-packed event that promotes a sense of unity and understanding between workers of different brackets. Mohamed S. Jallo, GRTS.
Well, as the debate on climate change heightens and its bitter bite strike the world over, the Gambia government continues to strive relentlessly to control its dire consequences. As part of efforts geared towards limiting the impacts of the phenomena, the Ministry of the Environment, Parks and Wildlife recently held 3 sensitization meetings with communities in the upper, central and lower river regions. Ismaila Senghor reports the main message at those meetings was coping strategies.
Last week ran a series of one-day-long workshops in the upper, Central and Lower River regions to sensitize communities on the issue of climate change and the challenges it poses and ways to mitigate or adapt to those challenges. Speaking to respective audiences in Passe, Kudang and Keneba, the Deputy Permanent Secretary, Mr. Lamin Jawara, told participants that climate change is one of the most serious long-term threats to sustainable development. This is why, he said, the government of the Gambia is highly committed to tackling the menace as manifested in the creation of the National Climate Committee in 1992 and the preparation of the relevant country working documents for implementation.
One of the most serious long-term threats that undermines the achievement of sustainable development and therefore must be addressed with concerted effort from all and sundry. The Gambia government, under the able and visionary leadership of His Excellency Sheikh Professor Dr. Alhaji Yaya Eje Jame, has been very committed to tackling the effects of climate change. This was first manifested in the establishment of the National Climate Committee in 1992.
In an interview with GRTS, Mr. Bubu Pate Jallo, Chief Technical Advisor of the Gambia's Climate Change Early Warning Project, said the aim of the sensitization is to raise the awareness of local communities on the causes of global warming and the actions they need to take in order to mitigate or adapt to its consequences.
What we want to achieve is to inform people what climate change is all about in their own context, because you cannot come here at this local level and begin talking about a lot of science and so on, but things that they will easily comprehend. So you must be able to speak their language. You must be able to translate the science you know into the language of the communities, and basically that is the best way they can understand. So we are trying to make them understand what is climate change and how it is affecting them, and how we think what we should do for the future so that we can address climate change. But we are also going to learn from them, because traditional knowledge is very important, and they know more about traditional knowledge, what has happened long time before, how they have been coping.
A participant at the Keneba meeting, Mr. Sana Sanyang of the Gambia Livestock Marketing Agency, said the training is important in that it will empower local communities to better manage the environment and natural resources.
I think this workshop is very important to come down to do step-down sensitization to help these farmers to know what they are doing to the environment. Maybe if they know that they will be able to know how to use the environment, how to make the best use of their forests, the trees, and the land itself. It will be very important. Yes.
So what would you say you have learned since you came to the training?
Oh, I've learned a lot. I've learned a lot about the forestry side, the side of how to improve on our forest, about the community also to benefit from their forestry, forest lands also.
The workshops were graced by regional governors, chiefs, village heads, lady councillors, and various other community leaders. They were also attended by various extension agents in the regions. These sensitization meetings come to complement similar ones held earlier this year for the North Bank and West Coast regions, as well as the Banjul and KMC municipalities. Ismaila Senghor for GRTS News.
A grand restoration of Nyome's valued customs that was the buzzing energy of the latest edition of the Woroso Cultural Festival that recently took place in the North Bank settlement of Essel, virtually uniting all communities of Nyome. As Ibrahim Ajata reports, 3 days of cultural performances strongly replenished the age-old traditions binding settlements that were in the past ruled by powerful kings and queens.
Journey to the North Bank region of the Gambia and discover Essel, practically the first major township one encounters on that side of the country directly after Bara. An integral division of communities under what was in earlier times the thriving kingdom of Nyome. Getting to know the eventful tale of this region means understanding the history of Essel. Today, the descendants of what could be Nyomi's earlier settlement can be found all over the Gambia, and SAO continues to retain